Welcome, dear friends, to this episode. Hope you enjoyed the previous episode and took out time to ponder on these self-reflection questions. Please share your self-reflection answers in the comment section below. I'm sure you might have considered transforming your contacts into connections, as we discussed in the previous episode. A small recap. We discussed that meaningful connections and relationships need constant nurturing. This requires time and effort. We also discussed that defining criteria of a meaningful connection is love, mutual trust, respect, and appreciation. We understood that one who is connected and is dependent on one's inner self is centered and has a foundation that can hold and nurture all connections and relationships with harmony. We also touched upon the fact that meaningful connections aren't limited to human beings alone, but are extended to the plants and animal kingdom too. Let's look at question 1. Is there a catalyst in creating and weaving meaningful connections? Who is that catalyst? Let's explore this with the help of few pictures and a small interview with few of the youths. So we have Nand with us for this interview round. Nand, when you look at this image, what comes in your mind?
So when I look at the image, I can see that it is a sturdy tree and it has huge roots, and the roots stretch down deeply into the soil, which has helped the tree grow a lot. And at this point I can say that the tree has reached a limit where it can provide for other trees, other small plants, climber trees, and maybe also provide in giving shelter to animals or anyone else, any other human being.
Nand, now I have the second picture for you. When you look at this image, what do you perceive?
So in the second image, I can see that the trees above the soil have their each own identity. Each one is different from the other. They have different shape, color. But below the soil, I can see that they are supporting each other. And to be specific, I can see that the roots are extending themselves in a joyful manner and helping them grow.
Now we have L.I.G.H.T with us. So L.I.G.H.T, when you look at this image, what are your thoughts about it?
So it looks like a very beautifully intertwined connection, and it looks like a little chaotic web, but then I can relate it through the modern era, how we have our internet connections all over the world. They have their own connections underground.
Let me narrate a small story about a little fir tree sapling in a dark forest. This tree sapling is trying to extend her first tiny leaf. However, she is scared, she is fearful in this dark forest because she is unable to reach out to light or water. This anxiety starts percolating down to her roots, and little did she know at that time that her tiny root is joined to the wood wide web in that forest. And this message through the network of the fungi, bacteria, passes on to the entire forest, and the message goes, little fir tree sapling needs help. This message when reaches to the birch tree, this tree comes to the rescue of the little fir sapling tree. And it's decided that when winter would come, this fir tree sapling would help the birch tree. So this fir tree sapling realizes that she is part of a community There are ways in which she would be cared for and she can extend her care to others. The realization of the small fir sapling that she is part of a community, that she is supported, and that she is not alone is a very important element of meaningful connection. And she also comes to know that the network of the fungi, the bacteria beneath the forest ground is instrumental in creating that network that is supporting not only her but also the entire forest. Now, there is a prime fungi, mycelium, that is expanding itself and is instrumental in creating this web beneath the forest ground. At this point, I would like you all to ponder over certain roles and thinking that we all may develop in terms of and in the context of creating meaningful connection. Can we all become that mycelium in our connections and look forward to the ways in supporting various connections that exist in our lives? Like trees that can communicate in a language of their own that's meaningful and helps them establish connection, we, with the gift of speech and meaningful silence, can we use the power of words and language to create meaningful connections? I would now like to bring the concept of Ubuntu here. Ubuntu is a set of closely related African origin value systems, soul force, an act that emphasizes the interconnectedness of individuals with their surrounding societal and physical worlds. A concept in which your sense of self is shaped by your relationships with other people. It's a way of living that begins with the premise that I am only because we are. On this note, let me share story of few kids of an African tribe. An anthropologist once was studying the habits and customs of an African tribe, and most of the day he used to be surrounded with kids. So on one of the fine afternoons, he decided to engage these kids into a race. So what were the kids supposed to do? As soon as this anthropologist was supposed to signal, all these kids had to run to a tree where there was a box of chocolate that was kept. So as like any other race, these kids were supposed to run and reach the tree, and whosoever used to be the first could have had all the chocolates. However, what anthropologist witnessed was something entirely different. As soon as the anthropologist signaled, he saw and he witnessed something which was beyond his imagination. He saw that all the kids are holding hands together, and on his signal, when he said run, they all started running together. They reached the foot of the tree near the box of chocolate, and they all enjoyed it together. When he saw this, he asked the kids, you could have run, and one of you who would have been the winner could have had all the chocolates. So why did you all held hands together and you all ran together? So on this, one of the kids said, because we all believe in Ubuntu. How could we have enjoyed the chocolate all by ourselves when the rest of my friends would have been sad? So what brings home is that Ubuntu is a way of life. It is an act. It is something which connects and joins all of us together. It is being human. So now that we understand Ubuntu, that it is an act of kindness, it is an act through which we care, It enables us to sympathize, to empathize, and become more human. How do we extend this warmth of care, empathy, and humanity in our relationships, connections, and inject the feeling that I am only because we are into our connections? Following tips may help you to build your connections strong and more meaningful. Quality time matters. Prioritize one-on-one interactions. Active listening, because it enhances understanding and empathizing. Open communication, as it encourages dialogue and expressing emotions. Shared interests, it helps in nurturing common grounds. And unplugged time, that helps or that can happen if we embrace technology-free moments. Quality time matters because it encourages and enhances one-to-one interactions. Imagine a time in your life when you really wanted to talk to your friend and you go to him and your friend is busy with the phone. You try and reach out to another friend, you go to him, and this friend is busy in his office work, looks at you and continues with his work. And you probably were wanting to pour your heart out and it was not happening. And I'm sure this would bring you to this understanding that how important it is to have one-to-one interaction and the impact it could have had if you would have got that chance to talk to your friend. Active listening enhances understanding and empathizing. You may have had an experience of having a heart-to-heart conversation with someone, and it may have at the end give you a sense of fulfillment. Why did it happen? Why did you feel so fulfilled? It's because someone gave time, somebody listened to you deeply. And the moment we all do this to each other, it fosters understanding, it fosters empathy, and it helps in creating that environment where you feel safe, where you feel that yes, I am important to that person. Open communication encourages dialogue and expression of emotions. If a friend approaches you and shares one of the secrets with you, if another friend comes and finds solace in confiding in you, it means you are approachable, it means you are non-judgmental, it means you are able to provide that space and that feeling of safety to the person that yes, you can open in front of me, you can communicate. And doing this, I'm sure, would be acting like a cement to your meaningful connection. Shared interests, nurturing common grounds. So it's a Sunday morning and you decided to have the time to try out maybe one of their new recipe, or you thought of singing together with your loved ones, or you thought that let's go out on the beach and took a stroll. So does it bring smiles on your face? Are you able to recall any memories? You are, because you created it. Don't you think you were able to bond over such joyful moments? Unplugged time, agreement on technology-free moments. So all the examples that we just discussed, that you wanted to confide in someone, or you had a heartful conversation, or you wanted to spend that holiday with your loved ones singing, maybe dancing, or cooking your favorite recipe. Will all this be possible in chaos? Absolutely no. You need silence. It is in the silence that the heart speaks. It is in the silence that you connect. It is in the silence that you bond and you become joyful and blissful. I hope that these tips might help you in fine-tuning your existing connections and would help you to create more meaningful connections. Many of us are longing for harmonious, deep, and meaningful connections and relationships in our lives. So, what goes missing? It is the intent and the attitude. On this note, let me share the last story of today. Once a rabbi was sitting with two of his students and he asked a question to both of them. When can you say that the night has ended and the day has begun? So one of the students says, when there is light enough to differentiate between a sheep and a dog, that is the moment. The other student replies, when you can differentiate between a fig tree and an olive tree in that light, that is the moment. And Rabbi says, none of you are right. He says that when a stranger approaches you and you see him as your brother and all the conflicts disappear, that is the moment when the dawn begins. So friends and dear viewers, if we really wish to move towards that dawn, we need to have that right intent, we need to have that right attitude, and we can begin that journey at this moment right now. This moment and this movement can begin with a practice of heartfulness. Let me introduce you all to Heartfulness Universal Prayer. This prayer is offered at 9 p.m. At this time, wherever you are, you may sit down, stop your activities and close your eyes gently and offer these suggestions to participate in this universal prayer. The purpose of this prayer is welfare of all our fellow brothers and sisters. Take these suggestions. All sisters and brothers throughout the world are developing intense love and devotion, and faith is growing stronger in their hearts. All kinds of distractions faced by our country and our globe are going away. May this entire earth be engulfed with peace and love. Try it for 1 week and note down your experiences. I wish and I pray that youth of today becomes the torchbearer of being human with the qualities of kindness, compassion, gratitude, humility, and love, and make this place better for everyone. To take this step, I invite you all to participate in the Heartfulness practice of universal prayer. Devote 15 minutes every day and work towards creating a better world for you and me. And let it be the way to build your connection with your inner self and the outer connection with fellow beings, with the environment, because it is pertinent for our existence and evaluation. To be is to be related. I would invite you to have few commitments to yourself. Would you be willing to be that catalyst in the web of connections in your life? Similar to the mycelium fungus that expands underground, creating a network of connections between all plant species, would you try to develop an all-inclusive approach in relationships to achieve universal brotherhood? When a tree in the forest is cut down, this mycelium communicates with many trees in the forest that one of them is dying, and all the other trees through the mycelium begin to care for the remaining trunk to try to save that life. Would you be willing to take care of your inner and outer connections? That is the foundation of your entire web of connections. I hope there were takeaways for you to enrich your relationships and your connections. Please stay tuned for the universal prayer.
Sit comfortably and close your eyes gently. Turn your attention inward. Now, take the thought that everyone, everywhere, is being filled with love and devotion. And real faith is growing stronger in their hearts. Gently let this thought remain within you for the next 15 minutes. Everyone, everywhere, is being filled with love and devotion. And real faith is growing stronger in their hearts.